my favorite fragrances for this year, 2023. Usually, I only go through about 5-ish fragrances in my videos, but today I'm doing 10. 10 of my favorites, because I realized 5 wasn't enough. I had to have at least 10. So, I'm going to start with some fragrances that I recently discovered, and that have quickly become some of my favorites. And I'm going to start with these two specifically. Ambre Nuit and Tobacco Color, both from Dior. Both of these are really, really good. Tobacco Color, obviously you're going to get a tobacco forward fragrance. Actually, both of these are unisex, by the way, even though they're both pretty heavy. But, you know, whatever. Tobacco Color, probably the most delicious tobacco fragrance I've come across, because a lot of tobacco fragrances are too harsh. You know, it's like a breath of smoke to the face. It's too much. Tobacco Color is very smooth because it's mixed with these other other notes, so it really smooths out, and it's just nice. It's a nice, cozy sort of fragrance, and great for the winter. You know, when it's cold, you want something warm and cozy to wear. Very good option. Then, Ambre Nuit is similarly heavy, without the smoke note. You're mainly going to get an opening of grapefruit, you know, citrus, then pink pepper, rose, and then some wood notes and ambergris. I would say Ambre Nuit is the coziest fragrance that I have yet smelled. It is velvety, like silk, you know, just smooth. And for that reason, I would recommend, even though it is a warmer fragrance, probably better for colder weather, I can wear this anytime, anywhere. Just a good fragrance. Really enjoyable. You know, especially if you like warmer, heavier fragrances. Then, also, both of these are from the same brand. Gentle Fluidity and Oud Satin Mood, both from Maison Francis Cousin. These are very different from each other. This is more fresh and crisp, this is more heavy and warm. I would say I like Oud Satin Mood a little bit better than Gentle Fluidity, but they're both really good. So, Oud Satin Mood is oud wood, which is very warm, sort of musky sort of wood, mixed with rose. You know, delicious combination there. The muskiness and heaviness of the wood note mixed with the light sweetness and naturalness of the rose, unparalleled. This is, when I first smelled this, I was like, this is something special. And this is probably the most luxurious, at least one of the most luxurious fragrances I have yet come across. This is really good. And as soon as you put it on, you could tell this is something unique. This is, you know, a departure. And it's really because of the oud, because oud is such a unique, luxurious note, an expensive note, because of its rarity. But this is great. This is, I mean, I would reserve this for the evening because it is more of a special sort of fragrance, but if it wasn't so expensive, I would wear this all the time. Then, the Gentle Fluidity. Here, this is, the reason I like it is the juniper note. It has notes of juniper berries, which are one of my favorite notes, you know, and this does it well. It really is authentic to the true smell of juniper berries, very crisp, kind of like pine needles a little bit, crisp and fresh and natural. Then with a little bit of nutmeg to spice it up, make it a little bit warmer, so it's not just your typical crisp and fresh fragrance. And it also has some amber and musk mixed in. And despite that, it is still primarily a light and fresh fragrance. It just has these warmer notes mixed in. Then, this small sample. This is Pegasus from Parfum de Mali. And this is actually a men's fragrance, but it has the most beautiful bitter almond note. And I really like the smell of almonds. You know, when you like crush up some almonds, it has this like lightly powdery sort of fragrance. And this is it. This is really good. It's more of a gentle, light, smooth fragrance, but still, really, really good. Probably because not a lot of fragrances use almond, so that this stands out from the competition just because of the almond note. Very pleasant, very smooth. Then this next one, this is fun. This is just a fun fragrance, Cherry Punk, from Room 1015. So the thing about this is you can get an idea. Cherry Punk, it's a cherry fragrance. However, when you first put it on, it's extremely bright, juicy cherry. Almost like cherry candy, a little bit, like a gummy candy. Then it, complete turn, 180 turn around, it becomes a very smoky kind of bonfire fragrance, which is very interesting. You don't expect that turnaround. And that is what makes it fun, in my opinion. First of all, I like kind of the bonfire smoky fragrance. I think it's very cozy. But just that burst of cherry at the beginning is so powerful and so interesting. And then it really melts into the smokiness, So it's very kind of a fun, unique fragrance. Just entertaining to wear. Especially good for the evening, because it is more of a heavy, smoky fragrance, but probably versatile enough to be worn during the day as well. Then the next one is my classic, always favorite. This is L'air du Temps by Nina Ricci, which is quite an old fragrance. This came out in 1948. This is very similar, somewhat similar, to Chanel No. 5. They are both floral aldehyde fragrances. This I like a little bit better than Chanel No. 5 because it doesn't have the civet note. I'm not a big fan of civet. I think it's a bit too strong. But this is really smooth. It has some really smooth, warm base notes, like mainly wood notes and amber and things like that. So it's not your typical floral fragrance. It's not too sweet. It's not, too much of anything. I like the warmth primarily that it has, contrasted with the floral notes. Then, this next one actually is from a company that I recently discovered called Fulton and Roark. So this particular fragrance, if you could see, is called Kaye Ocho, which means 8th path, I guess, or 8th street. It has notes of rum, tobacco, and sandalwood, all of which I really, really like. Rum is a really nice, warm sort of fragrance, mixed with tobacco, which, like I said before, is another great note for me. And then the sandalwood, which is a nice, smooth wood note. And the combination of these three notes in particular, great, just great. Extremely warm, cozy. It reminds me a little bit, I don't know, just like if I was in Texas at night by a bonfire, I feel like I would smell this. I don't know why, but it's that kind of like wilderness, rustic approach to things, which I really like. It's a nice fragrance. Then this is one of my newer favorites. This is from Old Navy. This is Sea Salt and Fig. This is a lighter fragrance. You do have to put on a lot for it to really perform well. But this is a nice sized bottle, so it doesn't really matter. This is a delicious fragrance. Just the sea salt and the fig. It sounds like a simple combination, but it really works. I personally like the sea salt note in general, whenever it appears. But mixed with the fig, because the fig is naturally a very sweet sort of fruit, with some low notes as well. Really a great fragrance. It's refreshing, more than anything, with a little bit of sweetness from the fig. Not too much, This isn't a super sweet fragrance. More of a natural sweetness from the fruit, mixed with the the astringency of the salt. And that's just, you know, a coastal seaside sort of fragrance. Very nice, very, if you want to freshen up, you know, this is a good option. Then, the last one actually that I have, this is Dior Homme Intense, or Intense, you know, depending on if you say it in French or not. This is a men's fragrance. Dior Homme means man. However, I like to wear it because it's just a delicious sort of fragrance. I've tried a variety of different Dior Homme fragrances because there are several different kinds. I would say I like the intense version the most because it has notes of muskmallow, pear, a little bit of iris, cedar, vetiver. It's a very warm fragrance. Very warm, a little bit spicy. It's very pleasant. It's a very seductive sort of fragrance. Even though it is a men's fragrance, I think it's really good for unisex because that iris note is very smooth, lightly sweet, balanced, you know. In general, this is a great fragrance, especially for the evening or cold weather. Just really good, really an attractive fragrance. But that's pretty much all I have to say. That's my list of my favorite fragrances thus far. I'm sure by next year I'll probably have some new favorites, but that's what I got for now. So, if you liked the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe. If you have any questions or opinions about these fragrances, you could always leave those down in the comment section below. And I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.